800 and some trees you're planting?
Yeah, 810 native edible hardwoods here at Downtown Green's new land, covering about 3 acres of riparian buffer. That's the area that we try to plant forests along streams and rivers. Keeps the water clean, helps produce wildlife habitat, and this particular forest is going to create edible nuts, fruit, and berries.
How long will it take for these to grow? They're just sticks right now.
They are. So they're 18-inch bare root saplings. They're dormant right now. We plant them in the cold because the trees are cold, and that way when we get them in the ground, they're going to put most of their energy into growing their root system, because that's the most important thing. We want to make sure and encourage root development. And you're going to dig your hole only large enough to sustain or surround the root system. All right. So when you're reaching for your tree, you're going to say, okay, how large is our root system? Yeah, I mean, we're really looking at an area that's no larger than the head of our shovel. So all you really have to do is dig a hole large enough for that. One thing, though, to keep in mind, it's important not to bury your tree too deep. When you bury your tree too deep, you impede its ability to gather and move gases up and down, and it can affect the long-term health of the tree. So this one's a little challenging to find. But what we like to do is leave the top root of the tree exposed. Okay? Not a commonly known thing, but it's very, very important. We talk to Tree Fredericksburg about how they plant trees. The number one thing they say people do wrong is they plant the tree too deep, and it over time kind of suffocates the tree. So what I want to say when I come back and do a spot check of these things, I want to be able to see a top root exposed above the soil. Okay, so that means I'm going to plant this tree only about that deep. Does that make sense? Yes.
The whole root, or just a section of that top root?
A section of the top root.
Okay.
I should be able to see maybe a half.
Okay.
And over time, they're going to grow into a forest. Hopefully, someday they'll resemble the forest around us, but it's going to be a combination of larger trees, such as red mulberry. We're going to work some pecans and hickory in, as well as understory trees like elderberry, pawpaw, and hazelnut. Probably going to be 5 years before these things start to produce nut and fruit. But once they do, it's going to be really exciting.
Boy, Will, I mean, it's going to be something.
Yeah, I know.
The way you're planting them, it's like, it looks, at least like we're standing here, it's like in a V shape or something like that?
Yeah, so essentially, this forest, this field is at the confluence of 2 streams. We got one stream going down either fence line, and so we're planting all of the area that's within 100 feet of those streams. That's why the V shape here. The area in the middle is more of an upland area. It's a little drier, and that's going to stay open as part of this planting. Someday, Downtown Greens might choose to use that for some other purpose, but we want to make sure that they have the flexibility to use that as they choose.
It's fun to see families out here, kids out here, people that all of a sudden now have a relationship to this land.
I know. Yep. The people that plant these trees are going to remember this forever, and since this land's going to be open to the public in some form, they'll be able to come back and enjoy this.
For you guys, for Friends of the Rappahannock, you got to be thrilled at this, because this is you're really doing so much more now with this land, and the community's getting involved, and you're teaching. A lot of good things happening right here.
Yeah, and it's unusual for us to get a planting this size in the city of Fredericksburg.
Yeah,
that's our home city, because we don't have a whole lot of farms or large open spaces in Fredericksburg. So when we do get an opportunity to do this, we try to work in as many volunteers and reach as many people as we can.
And just the relationship between Downtown Greens and Friends of the Rappahannock, it's always been strong. There's so many things that you'll both be able to collaborate on that you know how to do that they don't, and you've got the land to do it on, and just a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah, we really have a lot of mutual admiration for each other. I love what their mission is, and their mission is bringing people closer to nature and to the food they eat, and we found a great overlap between FOR and Downtown Greens on this project.
But the other thing, Adam, I think of is that when I heard this many trees, I thought, well, you Friends of the Rappahannock, you got a lot of volunteers. You'll be able to knock this out in no time. That's a lot of trees, and it's a lot of work.
It
Each
is.
individual tree.
Yeah. So it takes about 5 minutes per team to plant each of these trees, give or take. And we have about 40 volunteers out with us today. Our goal is to plant 250 more trees. We had 200 put in on Tuesday. Today we're going to do 250, maybe 300 more. And then this coming week, we're going to have James Monroe High School is going to come out and plant the rest of the trees as part of their Meaningful Watershed Education Experience program.
And if someone wants to find out about the other things that you do all year long, all over the place, just go to
riverfriends.org/events. That's our events page. We have a lot on the calendar this spring, so get on the list. Sometimes our volunteer projects fill up quickly, so I'd suggest you do that quick.
And you always have summer programs and camps and things like that.
We do, yep.
So
Absolutely.
So this is all part of a big program where Downtown Greens still needs a little bit more to get over the finish line.
Yes, they've raised over $1 million already to purchase the property, and they have only $150,000 in fundraising left to go before they can make their last mortgage payment, and their property is theirs free and clear. So please consider donating to Downtown Greens. You can find out more on the website.
DowntownGreens.org, and they're getting close, and the goal is to get to the end by the end of the month.
I know. I'm excited to see it.
It is. It's going to be exciting.